For quite a few months now, we've been testing how to get our clients listed in ChatGPT whenever we enter a keyword or phrase that we're targeting either on Google Ads or for SEO or something like that. And I believe now we've got a couple of action points that allow us to do this more consistently. And what I'm going to do on the video today is walk you through a couple of things that you can do, that you can action today, that will increase the likeliness of appearing in ChatGPT. Now, what I will say is we are still testing this, and as the LLMs evolve, as I'm sure more information becomes available as to the training data they use, I'm sure that the ways in which you can appear in the panel such as this will evolve as well. Now, as always, I'm going to run through the show notes down here. If you want access to these, sign up to the link in the description. You'll get access to a Notion board that looks a little bit like this. This will give you all the show notes for every video that I've put together, about 30 odd videos or something like that. Click the link at the top of the board and all the show notes will be down here. Now, if you don't want it in Notion format, I do also link to the document, which will give you something that looks a little bit like this. So without any delays, let's dive straight into it. One of the first things that we've noticed, the more high authority directories that our clients are listed in, the more the LLM understands and trusts our clients' website. So I've listed off a couple of high authority directories here that you should absolutely go and get listed in today. So especially if you're a software business, so we're a B2B performance marketing agency. A lot of our clients are in the software and tech space, probably around 70, 80% or so. So ideally you want to get listed in Trustpilot, G2, Crunchbase, Clutch, Capterra, Foursquare, TrustRadius, GetApp, Software Suggest, Crowd Reviews, Software Advice, just to name a few. There's probably plenty of others. But anecdotally, the more of these our clients are listed in, the richer the snippet in ChatGPT whenever we search the client. But we've also noticed that this is a really good signal. And it's probably because the LLMs use these as a source of training data, or at least Common Crawl does, and the LLMs access data from Common Crawl. So get listed in these today. Now, the second part to this is ensuring that you're also featured in industry-related publications that have authority. So, for example, if you're an HR software provider being listed in like HR News, HR Director, OnRec, for example, again, really, really good signals. And these are easy ones that you can do today. Doesn't take too long. Some of these you might have to pay for, but some of these are certainly free. So if you don't have the budget, just start with the free one. And then a bit of a bonus as well. If you're speaking at events or at conferences, get listed on those websites. So if you're in the marketing space, it might be like Brighton SEO or B2B Marketing Expo, for example. So these are all things that establish trust. And if you notice, whenever we have alongside this, some of the research that we've also found is LLMs like listicles and they like content that's easy to parse. So that's why directories work. And that's why, but you need to ensure that that directory is being used as a source of training data for the LLM, which we can probably, with a high degree of confidence, say that these ones are. And again, these are just the ones that we've tested and we've seen anecdotally that our clients are now appearing more because of that. So that's sort of the first bit, is you want to just make sure you're in these high authority, highly industry related directories. Now, the second part to this is you also want to appear in anything that lists your business in a top/best list of X services for Y. So, for example, my query was list the best HR software in the UK for small business. Now, if I come down here, I can click on sources, and on the right-hand side, I get a list of citations that ChatGPT has presented as a source. Now, what ChatGPT is essentially saying is these are the sources that I'm using as references to say that this list is the list of the best HR software providers in the UK for small businesses. So obviously there's a number of things that we can do with this. So firstly, can we get our client listed on every single one of these? So can they get listed in the 35 best HR software in the UK in 2025 by HR Stacks? Can we get listed in the 5 best HR and payroll software to streamline your small business in startups.co.uk? Can we get listed in the Small Business UK, Tech Jury, Breathe, Money Control? Another article from startups.co.uk. We've noticed this as well, that sometimes they'll reference multiple articles from the same domain. So I would use this as a bit of a hit list to try and get listed on. Now, again, I haven't really seen any correlation between whether we're top or 10th or whatever. Just get listed on these first and foremost, figure out the rest. Now, of course, if we can't get listed on these, then can we pitch these domains and request they publish an article that we create outlining the 10 best HR software providers for small business 2025 and pitch it as a standard guest post. So that would be my next approach with this. Now, the final thing that you could also do is creating this article and listing it on your own website. So for example, you'll recognize that Breathe is listed up at the top here. It's actually referenced, or the citation for it is presented. You'll notice that the citation given for it isn't the Breathe website, it's the small business website that talks about 7 HR software tools ideal for small business. Now, if we come over into the sources on the right-hand side here, you can also see that Breathe have created an article titled, "What's the best HR software in the UK for SMEs?" So Breathe is listed at number 1 here. They are referenced by an article by Small Business UK, but they've also contributed their own article targeting this sort of keyword and this sort of phrase. And what I would do is, obviously, you've got a set list here. You can test a number of different variations of this keyword. So, for example, HR software for small business UK, or top HR software small business in the UK. You know, try a variety of different variations. What we've tended to do is use a tool such as Link Clipper, for example. This allows us to extract all the links. What we then do is run this in Ahrefs, have a look at all the domains. How many of those domains have multiple articles? What's the average DR? Do we know if we can get a post on these websites, and can we give them a pitch? And essentially our outreach team will then go and outreach these domains if we don't have links on those specific pages. One of the final things that you may also want to consider doing is creating a Wikipedia page as well. So let's go a little bit more general. So if I go best HR software for SMB in the UK. So you'll notice we actually get a slightly different list of domains here, but the more you do this, the more you'll notice that a handful of sites will consistently be in this top 5, and then you might have 1 or 2 that are kind of variables. But sometimes in the right-hand side, we don't have it here, but you might get a Wikipedia page as well. So we know Wikipedia is also a source of training data. So let's summarize all of this. If you have your website down here, the first thing you want to do, if I'm going to start at the bottom down here, is ensure you can get listed in the high authority directories. So these aren't necessarily getting listed in the lists of the top or the best X for Y. This is just getting your company listed in these directories, as we have a high degree of confidence that these are used for training data. Next to this, we want to get listed in the high authority industry publications. And I've used an example for like an HR SaaS business, basically. So like HR News on Rec, HR Magazine, for example. These help to establish sort of authority and trust. And they're also great signals for Google. Like we know that as well. Now, if I come up to the top here, we also then subsequently want to get listed in all these sort of best HR software for small business listicles. And we want to try and do this as many times as we feasibly can, but I would certainly say starting with the articles that are listed as sources on the right-hand side. So whether that's an insert, a brand new post, or creating the article and listing it on our own website. So I think there's more to come with this. This is just anecdotally some of the tactics we've been testing, and we're slowly starting to see them work. So I'd be really curious to know your feedback Is this something that you've tested? Is this something that you're testing at the moment? You're kind of waiting on the results? Let me know in the comments. If you've enjoyed this video, then please do subscribe to the channel. And again, if you want the show notes, sign up to the link in the description and you can get them all in the Notion board here. Otherwise, I will see you on the next video. Thank you.